Hi everyone, welcome back to Management Information Systems. This is Module 7 and it's about managing data using tables. So when we think of Excel, a lot of us think of tables because that's a primary use in Excel. The things you can do is you can create and format a table, you can add a table, you can find and replace table data, you can delete data, you can sort, you can use formulas in tables, and of course you can print tables. So when we talk about a table is an organized collection of similarly structured data or records. A record is a table row that contains data about an object, person, or other item. A field is the column description, and the field name is the column label. Tables usually have header rows. Those are like the first rows, and you'll see them in most tables that are a part of Excel. So one of the things that you're going to do when you create a table is you're going to do some planning. You're going to decide what the purpose of the table is, what the structure of the table is, and what the rows and columns are going to look like. So let's take a look at how we do that. So let's take a look at this particular table. What has been decided is, okay, we're going to create a layout for this table. We decide on the field names, the type of data that we're going to put in the fields, and a description of the data. Let's go back here. So as you can see, this is a basic layout, and this is what the table is going to look like. So if you're creating a table in Excel, you decide on that table structure, the sequence of fields, the appropriate data type, and then the table styling by formatting the table. And we'll talk about formatting in a bit here. This is a tool that you can use to create your table. And some people use these wizards to help them with the process of creating a table. So from our data that we had previously looked at in defining the kind of table and what we want to have it look like, here's the table that we created. Pretty cool. So you can change the appearance of a table by formatting it or using styling options. And as you can see on the table styles, there's a lot of different ways you can style your particular table. And keeping in mind that you don't want to get a style that's distracting from the data. You want to enhance the data that you have on your table. So what you do is you type directly below the last row of the table when you want to add data, and then you press enter, and then a new row becomes a part of that table. The formatting extends to the new data then. When you have an active cell and it's the last cell of the table, you can add a new row by pressing the tab button. Now, one of the things you're going to learn about being in an Excel spreadsheet is tab is how you move from one cell to the next cell. Okay, so when you want to add table data, didn't mean to click on that. If you click to the right of the row number and select the entire row, and then click the top edge of the head to select the column, and you click the upper left corner of the first table cell to select the table. So that's how you would go about selecting a row, column, and table. You also have a find and replace feature, and that's really nice to have. It locates specific data, and then you also have the option of being able to replace it with specific data. Wildcards can be used if you don't know specific things about what you're trying to find. If you use the question mark, that means it's a single character. And if you use the asterisk, that means it's a group of characters. You can also use the Find feature to navigate to a specific place in the workbook and then go ahead and edit it. So here's an example of the find and replace. They're just using the find in this case, and you don't have to use the replace. If you just want to find where cheetah is in your table, you can just type in cheetah and it will find it. And if there's more than one instance, you can click on find all, or you can find the first one and then find next. You can use the delete button in order to be able to delete duplicate data. So if you take the handle and drag it to where you want it to delete certain pieces of information or data and drag it across the table until you want to stop, and then you've selected the material that you want to use to get rid of duplicate records. This is again a WYSIWYG, or a box that is used in order to be able to choose the things that you want to remove duplicates of. You can sort. Now, sorting is used a lot in tables. So you can change the order of the records. You can do ascending, descending, multi-level sort. You can also do a custom sort. Keep in mind that when you do a custom sort, if you want to sort according to one column, or usually it's a column, that you select the entire workbook, because what happens is if you just choose the column, it's just going to sort the column. So here's an example of a table that's been sorted on 2 levels, and you can do that as well through the custom sort feature. The sort feature is really an effective tool to use in a table. You can use calculated formulas to fill the remaining cells in a column. You can use structured references, which are formulas that refer to table columns by automatically generated names. And we talked about that a little bit, naming formulas that you create. Tables can also have a specific area at the bottom called the table total row for calculations. So here's an example of that total row. Oops, let me go back. So here's an example of that table row, total row, and you can use different features, like you can have the maximum, the minimum, the average, the count, etc. That can be really a nice tool to have too. Calculated columns fills the remaining cells with the columns formulas. Oops, we just did this. We went back. Let me go forward here. You can use the page layout tab to determine the way the table will print. So if you wanted to print the title, you'll go to print the top of every page. If you wanted to print the area, you select the area of the workbook that you want it to print. So here's the page setup dialog box. So what you're doing is you're telling it, this is what I want it to print. And as you can see, you can select it to print the grid lines. You can select it to just print a draft quality, all kinds of things. And I will see you in the next module. Thank you.